Hey everybody, signing on. Excuse my sniffliness. I just went through a sneezing spell, of course. Always right before I gotta do something. My sinuses go crazy. Hello Linda and Carrie and Louise and Karen and Betty and Lynn and Gail. Welcome. Excuse me. Whew. How's my hair look today? Good? Good. Hey, Mindy. And Donna Marie. And Janan, how are you? Such a pretty name, Janan. I love it. And Gail and Judy. So, I'm going to try to do this without my mic today. So if you can't hear me very well, turn up your volume. Diane, you're hysterical. You need to come see me next week. I'll be in tomorrow if you need help. I just love you. That's why you're one of my buddies, my favorite buddies. So hey Molly. And Carla, hi. And Mary, hey Mary. What were we talking about a moment ago? Sorry. My Diane always cracks me up. Judy, I'm assuming you mean about the private class I'm thinking about doing? Yes, I will. I'm gonna let some more people join on and then we'll talk about that. I was gonna talk about that today. So, yeah, it's the weekend and believe it or not, and if you don't know, I'm in Florida. I'm in northern Florida, what we call the Panhandle, which is this, if you look at Florida, it goes ing. I'm up in the middle of the ing, and kind of near the armpit. And, oh goodness, you see my, what's that called? Oh, poison oak. Well, anyways, I'll tell you about that in a second. But, it's like in like the upper 60s today, so all of us are like, what? I've only been outside once. I'm not an outside girl. I don't like going outside. That's why it's weird that I have poison oak. But my husband, Jason, and my dog, Lacey Blue, they walk every day and for long periods. And in our neighborhood, we're in a very lush neighborhood where like it's one of the older neighborhoods that they didn't cut down all the trees or anything like that. I mean, it's very Tallahassee. It's very beautiful, and I wanted to come back and live in this neighborhood because all the trees were still here. But with that comes poison oak, and then when the dog's walking, we think she's getting it on her paws, and it doesn't affect them, but if they touch you, it affects you. So I didn't know until this year how allergic I am to it. So, just a little note, but not getting me just a pic of you, like a profile pic. Judy, log off and then log back on. Is anybody else getting that? Just a picture of me. If you are, let's y'all go ahead and log off and log back on. If that doesn't work, then I'll log off and log back on. Thanks, Linda. Hey, Dawn. So yeah, this beautiful day. I mean, it's gray, but it's beautiful. It's nice. And hey, Jacqueline. It's nice and saying fine. Thanks, Linda. Okay, good, Judy. That's awesome. I'm glad that worked for you. Yeah, so a couple things we want to get started with. So welcome to the 12th edition, believe it or not, of gosh, that's like 3 months. Is that right? Yeah. Of sewing here at the Beehive. Hi Pat, welcome on. Today I wanted to kind of build off of what we did last week, and if you weren't here last week, you can always go back to my videos. You can go in the photos section and you will see a play button on the actual videos. Last week we did quilting using our IQ designer functions, and I did mention some border functions, but there in the Solaris there is a actual border function, meaning it will do all around your quilt. But in the Meridian and Altair, we have ways to get around that. Definitely, I mean, there's so many fantastic ways to get around that. But if you're like me and you're like, oh well, I want to push a button and I want to do this and I want to make my own and I want to do this. I mean, like, I explore everything. I'm such a nerd on these machines. And so I kind of at one time made my own little border and then used the border function that is actually on the Meridian and Altair that's in the embroidery side, and kind of came up with my own way to do it. So it's kind of fun. So it does take a little work, but you know, for me, if I'm working on my machine, I'm learning more about it as I'm building my own stuff. So yeah. Now, to talk about what we talked about earlier this week, when I had the special little episode and came on and talked to you guys. I thought about what I could do, and to be honest with you, I just don't have a lot of time to set up a separate night to do Meridian / Altair and Solaris. So the only thing I could think of is the very first half of our lives, our Sunday lives, will be dedicated just to the Meridian / Altair. Remember, I'm not doing sewing, just the embroidery and IQ part. And then the second half will be Solaris. I want to be able to show both features. So if by the time we're done with the Meridian, you want to jump off. That's totally cool with me. If you want to learn a little bit more about the Solaris, I'll be doing that in the second half, and I will totally let you know. I'll say, okay, guys, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So, hopefully that'll help. Again, unfortunately, I just don't have... I've got so much going on right now with work and my own designing and my own, you know, stuff going on, working with Baby Lock. And this is for the Solaris owners, or if you're thinking about getting a Solaris, Baby Lock just opened up a Baby Lock Solaris community. And so I've had questions about that. And so it is just made for Solaris owners. Yes, that's it. And I'm not sure. Maybe one day they'll have an Altair Meridian. I'm not really sure. But you do have to put in your serial number, and there's a reason why. They want to keep you safe in a sense. That information doesn't go anywhere. What they're making sure of is that you are a true owner. And why is that important? That way it's special for you. This is just for you. This group is just for you Solaris owners that want to congregate and work with each other, and then see what we can do, and, you know, show you some really cool stuff. Now, I understand it's kind of like, but that's the way they're going to do it. But be mindful that nothing's going to happen to your information. This is a very secure group. And yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up really quickly. Okay. Okay, well, that's good. Thank you for your positive feedback on the half and half. Okay. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So, okay, so let's talk about a couple things that's been going on. You've seen me do. By the way, I have to give you guys a compliment. Not for me, I think you're all amazing anyways, but for my husband. My husband has told me several times this week how awesome he thinks, and this is, you know, he's a dude, you know, he just does his, he's a fisher, he just does, you know, whatever. But he does watch the videos on the group, which I think is really super cute. But he said, hey, Whit, my Whitley's in here, but he said, I think it's so amazing that after you teach something that your followers post stuff that they do. And he said, and he's looking at him, he's like, wow, that's amazing. Wow, that's amazing. And I think that's very sweet coming from a non-sewer. So make sure to post the stuff that you make after you learn something. Not only do I love seeing it, everybody else loves seeing it, and even my husband, which is, you know, that's fun, you know. So other people are seeing it that don't even do what you do. Now there's only a very select few, but you know, make sure you post what you do. It doesn't matter if it's something I've taught. We love to see what you do and see the creativity that you have. We're all here to support each other. Okay, so couple things. I want to show you what I've been working on. Miss Zandra Shaw, I know y'all have seen me post a little bit about her recently. I'm working on a set of her Sew My Souls, and I got one shoe done. The other shoe, hopefully I'll finish tonight, but I wanted to show them to you guys. So this is something really cool. Look how cute these are. Oh my God. How cute are these? Now, the top is made in your embroidery hoop. This part's made in your embroidery hoop. And then you hand stitch on the sole. Now, if you don't like to hand stitch, give it to a friend who likes to hand stitch, and there you go. You know, it's they're super cute. So this is one of my shoes. I will be teaching this sometime in the near future if, you know, if a store wants to bring me in to teach us. This is really, really, really cute. Yeah, Diane says, so cute, put them where Lacey Blue can't reach them. Yes, Lacey likes shoes. She don't chew on nothing else, but she loves shoes. Hey, Zandra, Miss Zandra's on there right now. Zandra, I'm almost done. I got one done. I've got one more to go. So these are so fun to make, and they're so cute. What was really hilarious, I sent a picture to my mom, and she said, that's what I want for Christmas, and now I have to make her a pair. The other thing is I kind of put a little hit out there, and I said, hey guys, you know, I'm working on something for, you know, a little private class, a little private paid class, if anybody would like to do that. And it's a very simple little project. However, and it's something you've seen before, but it's all made in the hoop, you know. Here we go. Okay, real quick, let me see what Jory says. Because it has an extra crochet too, are they as tight as the other handmade shoes to tend to fit? I haven't put it on yet, but yes, this is called what Zandra calls a toe flower right here. Actually, it adds more structure right here, which is really, really stinking adorable because it adds a little bit more, you know, to it. But Zandra has all kind of directions on how to either shrink your shoe, or, you know, at least this part, or to make it fit your foot. So she's got some great ideas on that. So when you make it, then there are some techniques to learn about that. Let me slide it on. Now, my foot's a little bit smaller than this size, but it feels good. But it's a little loose on me because it's not really my size, but it's almost. Those are so cute. Okay, so let's get back to the private. Okay, so this is something you've all seen and done before, I'm sure, or a lot of us have made these before. However, I've never seen it done completely in the hoop. So I said, well, let me figure out how to do it in the hoop, and this would be a great teachable moment. So what it is a bowl koozie. So you've all seen little bowl koozies around. People make them for gifts and all that. But I said, well, you know, I'm Anna. How can I make this into a little class for everyone to learn more about using IQ Designer to build a hole in the hoop project? So what I did, I know this is backwards, is you can put whatever you want in the center, and then put the fills around it. This one is just quilted on the back. It's kind of hard to see. There's some. It's just quilted on the back with our built-in fills. And this whole thing is, there's a tiny bit of sewing in it because you have to make these little pleats right here. but it's just a little bit of sewing. So I thought that would be a good class to learn some things. Plus, you get to basically personalize it. However, and I'll say this when we do the class, and it's going to be written all over the directions. Since we're using polyester thread, we can't put this in the microwave like you would a traditional bowl koozie. So you would have to take your bowl out and place it in there. Or, you know, this is great for ice cream or whatever. But they're super cute, and I love the shape that I chose because it makes it look like a little flower when you're kind of looking at it. So it looks a little bit like a little flower. So, yeah. So, yeah. Pretty cool. So this would be, I think this is going to be a cute little project. So those of you who are asking, that's probably going to be one of our first classes that we do. You know, I've got a bunch of other ideas in there in my head too. So if you have any ideas, you can always shoot them over to me too. Let's see. Okay, let me jot back up really quick. Love the shoes. Where do you get them? Carla, actually you order everything. Let me show you the kit. I purposely put it over here from Zandra. And you can get them in any size. So first off, these are cool. These are black. And I've got something really special. It's actually one of her Sugar Skull designs. We're going to do that. So you get the soles. You get this great bag. And then everything, and I mean everything you need to make this. So you get all the way from the muslin to the stabilizer to a box of pins. Each kit you buy, you get the pins. You get everything. You get little, these guys right here, which I had to use, these little silicone thimbles. Amazing. You get needles for the hand stitching part. You get the waxed cotton to do this part right here. So yeah, so you get everything in the kit, and you can go to Embroider Shop, SHOPPE, to not Embroidery Shop, Embroider Shop to find that. Okay, so let's go back. Diane, what size is my mom? My mom can wear up to a 6. Molly says, I can't for any length of time due to carpal tunnel. So happy it's in the hoop. Yeah, they're really, really fun. Let's see. Could you do a cotton thread? Oh, I think you're talking about the bowl. I have not tried that, but I talked to Debbie, my boss, who is really, really, really awesome at embroidery, and I asked her that, and she said, yeah, I've stitched with cotton thread before, but the thing is, we are using, I'm using a cutaway stabilizer inside to keep it nice and soft. So we were thinking, well, if they did do that, then you could probably use a wash away, like no-show mesh stabilizer. So I'm going to try it a different ways, just so you all know. Okay, Hey, Linda. Judy, anxious, oh, thanks. Diane, no. These are mine. These are my samples. I ain't giving her those. No, I told her to pick out some fabric, and I'll make her some. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that I want to tell you guys today. I think that's it. I think that's what I wanted to tell you. But now to move on to our technique of the day. So, I really bit myself in the hiney on this one. I should have done this in different colors, but I want to see, you guys can see these little florets, little flowers right here, right? Going down. I know they match exactly. These are done in orange. I wonder if y'all can see this one okay. Not so much better. However, let's go back to the little ones here. Okay, so can you see these little flowers going down right here? This is what we're going to work on today. I made up that border myself. I designed that little flower myself. Now that it's going to take a little time, so just watch. And for this part, in IQ Designer, it's going to be the same on any single machine that has the IQ Designer. The Destiny, the Altair Meridian, and the Solaris 2. So that part is what I'm going to show you on the Meridian and how to make it a full border. And then when we jump over to the Solaris, I'm going to show you a little bit of, you know, the way you would do it over there too, but a couple extra things. So yeah, let's get the camera turned over and let's get started on making our little fun little border guys. Switch you over and bring you over. So let me know how the sound is doing since I'm doing it without a microphone. I just wanted to kind of see how that would work, because sometimes when I go back and listen, I am like, it is like so scratchy. And I'm like, that's got to be so annoying for you guys to have to listen to the scratchiness. Okay, okay, here we go. Pam says you could use wrap and zap batting and no stabilizer. Ooh, really? Ooh, Pam. Pam, I might have you send me a reminder on that because I'll forget about it, but maybe you can shoot me a message and say, hey, look up zap, nap, and zap, and I'll have to get some. When you quilt in the hoop, what type of stabilizer do you use? Oh, good question, Gail. Let me show you. When I quilt in the hoop, so if I have like this guy, let's pretend it's a giant big quilt. I actually don't use any stabilizer. I go ahead and layer it with my top piece, my batting, and my backing, and then I just hoop those 3 layers and do the embroidery or do the quilting in the hoop. I don't use any stabilizer. Now, if I'm doing something like this, it's a little bit different. I will use a stabilizer because I'm quilting 2 separate pieces. It just kind of depends, but if I'm doing an actual whole quilt, like something like this, I know this is teensy, but I just hoop those 3, your top, your batting, and then your backing piece, which I think is great. I mean, you're not wasting stabilizer, you're not, you know, doing all that. I don't know why this is on. There we go. I must have pushed that by accident. Okay, let me get my chair into get some stuff out the way. And let's get in position. I think I'm going to lower you guys just a little bit. I am really liking my new, this one actually works, my new, whatever this guy is called. Yeah, that thing. Back you up a little bit. It's got all these knobs though, so you have to kind of learn how to, oh, that's the wrong, see, not turn the wrong knob. There we go. But this one's so much better, and my phone doesn't fall out, which is fantastic. Let me make sure everything's locked so it doesn't slide down. Okay, so we're on the Meridian right now. Again, if you have an Altair, you can do this as well. In the IQ Designer, although it may look a little bit different, you can do this in the Destiny 2, or Destiny 2, Altair, or Meridian, or Solaris 2. So, let's go to IQ Designer. And what I want to do is that little shape. I'm going to show you how I made that little shape, that little floret, whatever you want to call it, that I did on the border in that quilt that I showed you a moment ago. So I just used the built-in shapes, but I kind of went really deep, and I'll kind of go through it kind of quickly. But know that you have tons of fun little shapes to play with. You could take and make a border out of some stars or some hearts or just some cute little circles. Ooh, cute overlapping circles would be adorable. You have up here, you even have some more shapes. You can do some fun hearts. You can do some cutesy little kid ones here. This airplane's cute. Or some other kind of closed shapes. You could even come here and do some open shapes as a border. Why not? You know, it's your quilt. You can do whatever you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my shapes and I'm going to make my own shape. And what I'm going to grab is this teardrop. And I'm going to select OK. Now I do have my 1-inch grid in the background, and that's going to help me align everything. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to size, and that's where my move buttons are. And I'm just going to move this guy up a little bit just to give me some room. So I'm just going to move him up. Let's see, I'm going to move him about right there. And I'm going to select OK. Now since my red box is around this teardrop, I can copy this. It is selected, so I'm going to make a copy just by selecting this little guy right here. And now I have a second teardrop. But what I want to do is I want to flip that teardrop around. So I'm going to go to rotate, and I'm going to turn it 90 degrees until it's completely upside down. And then I'm going to, if you can see, I have a darker plus or grid line that looks like a little plus that separates everything into 4 quarters. I am going to use that line to, thank you, Judy, grid. I'm going to move this, use the grid to line everything up. So I'm just going to first go over here to where this little point right here lines up with the grid. There we go. And then what I want to do for the shape I'm looking for, I'm going to take and push this guy up and kind of overlap them. Well, I'm definitely going to overlap them until I get kind of like this eyeball. Okay, I'm going to say okay. Now what I want to do, if we look up here at this eyeball, I want to get rid of the inside lines, the circle that's there. So all I'm going to do is use my erase button to get rid of those, because I just want it to be one unit now. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to select whichever one I like. I like the square. Some people like the circle. Totally fine. And I'm going to zoom in. And I like to get really close, because when you get really close, you can see these are pixels. Judy says, remind me where the grid is. Oh, that's a good idea. Just a refresher, guys. Your grid is going to be up in your settings, and it's going to be on page 4, and it's going to be this area right here, and you can change it to whatever you want. I'm going to get this off of that. That's just showing my hoop. I don't really need to see my hoop right now. There it is. Okay. So the reason why I like to zoom in is because you can see all the pixels. And when I have my eraser on, and if you can see my little box, I can go and erase all these little pixels that I don't want. Remember, right now it's just an artwork design. It's not really stitches until I make it stitches. And if you like to use a mouse, you can use your mouse too. And this is why I like the squares, because I can really kind of, and I think I just broke it right here, so I want to back that up. Oop, I did. So I can always use my back button. So let me clean this area up real quick. There we go. And then I'll come in here and get this gone. I might even zoom in more. Ooh, that's better. I can see this. And I think I'm going to take this down to a smaller square. Yeah, there we go. Much better. Okay, and then I can come down here. Oh, I broke it again. And what I mean when I say I broke it, if I've got my eraser and accidentally hit the outside line like that, I don't want that to be broken, that outside line. So I just hit my back button. And that's why you want to erase in small areas too, because if you erase this whole big circle right now and at the very end you broke one of these lines, if you hit the back button, you're going to have to erase everything all over again. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. and get to work on this line. So this will just take me a moment. And just keep erasing that circle or whatever you're working on. Now you don't necessarily have to do any shape that I do. I just wanted to be able to show you this is how cool. And this is a tiny bit more advanced, but you guys are so good. You got this. I know you're going to come up with some fun stuff after this. But like I said, I'm pretty much a technical girl. I am such a geek when it comes to this. I love this process. And so I just want to keep seeing. I push my machines. I push all the technology in them to see what can be done so I could teach you guys, look at all this cool stuff that can be done. Okay. Can you combine shapes? Actually, yes, that's exactly what I did, Molly. I combined the same shape, but I can combine a heart and a star. I can combine that little teddy bear shape with the airplane. I can totally do that, absolutely. And if you remember, if y'all did the keychain with me, if you remember, we did combine shapes. We did the outline shape with a little circle shape. The circle shape was to make the little area at the top where you put your, oops, I broke a line, where you put your little rivet to hold your key, the key fob part, or the key holder part, whatever that thing's called. Okay, or where you put your snap too. So you've done that if you did that. So I keep breaking lines. That's why I am gonna go. Did it again. Slow down, Anna. Slow down. There we go. It's almost done, and all my lines are done. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna zoom back out so you can see what shape I have now. So now I have like this huge, weird little oval shape, and what I want to do now is make that a more of a skinny petal shape. So since it's unselected, what I need to do is come down here to my selection key, and I'm going to draw a box around it, and now I'm going to change what it looks like by going to size. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to squish it in. Squish, squish, squish. Now this is going to be teensy. The one that I did on that quilt, they were 1.5 inches big. They were teeny weeny. So I'm going to bring it into about 1.5 inches and then make it 1.5 inches high. So it's 1.5 by 1.5. Oh wait, no, maybe, I don't know. I'm just playing right now. So I'm just going to get it super small because I can. This is my machine and I can do whatever I want. Okay, now see how it got a little chunkier? I need to bring that in so it's actually smaller than that, but that's okay. Details. And I think for our purposes, I'm just going to make it taller and skinny just so you can really get the idea. But you can change your size to whatever you want. So we'll just leave it at that. But you can kind of see, if I turn my grid off, that it's like a skinny petal shape. So I'm going to turn my grid back on though, because this is going to help me with the next steps. And remember, I like to use 1-inch grids. Y'all can use whatever one you want. What I'm going to do is I am going to take this bottom point right here and put it right in the center of that darker grid area. So I'm just going to use my up key to move it up. Oop, a little too much. Let's bring her down. And I can tell from my angle, could I? No, I think that was right. Okay, so now what I want to do is copy that. So I'm going to copy, and I'm going to copy it 3 times. I'm going to go 1, and I'm going to move this over here. And I'll tell you why in a minute, why I'm moving them so far apart. Then I'm going to move this one. I'm just going to move it over here because I can. And then we're going to copy that one just by hitting that little button and bring it way over here. The reason why I bring, and let me click off, the reason why I bring these way out to the side is so I can select them individually. If I had this one right here, let's say, and it was really close to that one right there, if I wanted to just select this one, it's going to be really hard. It's going to get into the other design, and watch what happens when I move it. Did you see what it does? It splits the other design. So I'd rather not deal with that. So I'm going to take that and back it up and put it back where I want it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little guy and move it to the bottom of that first piece. So I'm going to go, I can pick it up and move, get it about where I want, and then use my size. If I go to size, I can use my move buttons and meet it right there. And if they overlap, who cares? Doesn't matter. Okay, oops. That's another thing. If you're still in the move area and you try to click off of the design, it will move the design. So what we want to make sure of is, it kept happening to me today when I was recreating this. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Okay, so now I'm back in my normal editing screen, and I'm going to click off because I want to select this one, making sure that my selection box is selected. And I'm going to grab this guy, and let's see, I'm going to get him close to there, but I'm going to go to rotate first. And I'm going to get her to go sideways, and then move her on in. Okay. Did it again, Anna. I kept doing this today. I was frustrating myself, and now I'm doing it in front of you guys, which is fine. I mean, all mistakes are good mistakes. Okay, so I'm going to push OK, and now I can click off. And one last time, I'm going to grab this guy and select this one. Just kind of move it over a little bit, go to my rotate, and use 90 degrees. And now I can bring her up here to meet her sisters. Now, we're going to zoom in, because what I'm really trying to do, guys, really, I keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's okay. Let's just get her. Okay, so, okay, there we go. Now I can click off. What I want to do is zoom in now, because I want to make sure that that center is all crossing. So you see how they're all touching? Fantastic. That's what I want. Now, I'm going to do one more thing to add a little bit more interest to this little girl. I'm going to select the whole thing by drawing a box around it, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to pull her away for just a minute so you can see it. So you can see that? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, let's go to rotate. And now what I did was I hit the center button. So what that means, it's sitting right on top of the other one. But what I'm going to do is start rotating it. So watch this. Oh, isn't that pretty? Let's move it over a little bit. Looks like it moves just a hair. No biggie. Hello, Jane. So let's move it 10, and then I can use these degrees, these 1 degrees, and just ever so slightly set it. And look how cute that is. Let's turn off the background. Oops, it's that way. There we go. Look how cute that little guy is. So I've made my own little floret. So I want to tell this. Yeah, it is. You know where I got this? Thanks, Donna and Molly and Linda. You know where I got this idea from? I stole it from, if any of you guys are ruler work girls, I stole this idea from you guys because I am terrible at ruler work. So I wanted to see how I could do it without doing it. So I wanted to design my own, and the first one I came up with was that design, and I just kept playing and playing and playing and playing until I thought that was so pretty. So this one right here, I also did it with some circles, which I thought was really cool. So you can really play with your designs. Isn't that cute? I love this one. That one's just, it's so me. It's just, it spoke to me so much. I don't even know if I saved it. I hope I did. So I can make it again. So, I got my inspiration from the So Steady girls are amazing, and I saw them doing this, and I'm like, well, I can't do that because I'm terrible at free motion quilting, so I can use my IQ Designer because I have the power, and I can do what I want, right? So we've got our machines, we can do this. Okay. So what I want to do is tell this what I want it to be. So we're going to, remember we have our top light gray box. That is our line properties. Our bottom light gray box is your fill properties. So we're going to use the line properties. So I'm going to grab my little piece of paper. I'm just going to select for this purpose just the single line, and I do want to turn it a color so I can make sure everything will turn into stitching. So I'm going to grab my bucket, and now that everything's overlapped, all I have to do is touch one line and you can see all of it. So if you overlap a design inside of IQ Designer and you go and try to change the color, it's going to do everything that touches. So just remember that when you're working on some other stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save it just in case. So I'm saving it inside of IQ Designer into my machine. Then I'm going to hit next, preview, because I don't really need to do anything. And there she is right there. So it's kind of big, but that's okay. We can still that. Hey, Dad. My dad just joined on. Wow, everybody's coming on tonight. So this one's kind of big, but I can still set that size if I want to. I can make it smaller if I want to. So I'm going to hit set. Okay, because I'm happy with it. Let's move my mouse pointer out of the way. And now I do want to make it a little smaller so I can show you what's about to happen. So I'm going to go to Edit, Size, and remember my favorite button, guys. If you've been with me for a while, you know my favorite button is the Stitch Recalculation button inside of our size and our embroidery side. If you're new to this, let me tell you. Right now, with this little highlighted blue, what that means is I can change the size of my design. I can make it 20% bigger or 10% smaller without stitch recalculation. That means that it won't add or take away stitches. But I have this little squiggly line, which I love, that will let me go 200% bigger and 60% smaller with stitch recalculation. So I'm going to go smaller. I'm actually going to go pretty small. Let's see if it'll let me get to, okay, it's only letting me get to there because it went 60% smaller, so that's 3 inches. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So now on to the border. Let's talk about borders real quick. So what you want to do is you want to measure your border and your border length here. So what I did was I actually, when I pieced this together, I measured from my seam line right here to the seam line right here. And it's about 17 inches. And my design for this was about 1.5 inches. So I had to figure out how many of these little guys would fit into a 17-inch area that were 1.5 inches. And that ended up being about 10. Okay, well that's cool. And then across the top here, you can see this top here, this piece. I had to figure out how wide that was. I believe that's 12. And yeah, it was 12, about 12 inches. And my little designs are 1.5 inches, so I was able to get 6 in there. So you do have to do a little bit of calculation. You just play, you know. Your sound is much better. Oh, than when I normally use my thingy? Okay, good. That's good to hear, Pam. Thanks. Okay, so watch this cool little button that I think is so neat to make the borders. I've designed my design. I'm ready to go, but I don't want to just stitch out one at a time. So let's say I was doing my 17 or whatever. I needed to make 10 of those. Watch this. what I'm going to go is go to this little function right here. These are your continuous border feature right here. So let's, and there's, I'm probably saying the wrong name, but it's really cool. I'm going to tap this. And what I want to do is take this guy and I want to move him all the way up to the top. I'm just going to get it down a little bit. Now I have the ability to add on to these. Now normally we could just go, or I'm sorry, you could just go copy, paste. But you're going to have to sit there and line everything up. Copy, paste, line it up. And then you're going to have to sit here and go like this and get into, I like easy. Let's get rid of those. Let's go to our border feature. And I want to add as many as I can till it stops me underneath this. So I'm going to be looking at this is my vertical view. So I'm selected in vertical and I'm going to go minus, and minus will actually drop it underneath. Plus, oh, okay, because it's fussing at me. It says, move me down, Anna, move me down. Yep, still move me down. Okay, here we go. Why aren't you doing it? Really? Here we go. There we go. Okay, I had it in a weird spot. So that wasn't very, voila. Okay, so if you saw what just happened, I'm going to go back. Let's see how high I can get it, where I can do what I need to do, about right there. So if you see if you're watching what happens, is I'm going to select, I don't know why it's not, let's bring it down to the bottom here. Okay. And it's probably because it's 3 inches big, so I have to be careful. Okay, so I'm going to go plus, plus. Now it's probably not going to let me do any more than that, but if I wanted to do 10 of those, then there they are. Did you see how it added it right on top of each other in the perfect line? How cool is that? Love it. I can also play with the spacing too. I can put spacing in between these guys. So I can draw them out. Super cool. Love this. Now, if I wanted to go and let's see if I can move it over to here, I can even go to this side right here. And I can add horizontally. So let's see if I move this over, if we can get one more. Probably not. Yeah, it's only going to let me. It's because of the size. However, there we go. But normally, and Diane says you're doing add it to the top button instead. Yeah, I get them confused sometimes, so I just kind of play around until I get it right, Diane. So I can do whatever I want. If I have it centered here and I go back to the vertical mode, I can go one on top. For some reason, it's not. Oh, you know what? You're right, Diane. I see it. I see it. I did the wrong thing. It's right here. Nope, 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 nope. I'm doing takeaway. Stop using the minus keys, guys. I keep hitting the minus keys. What I need to do is hit, there we go, the plus keys. Thanks, Diane. I get it now. Hey, it's live TV. What do you expect? Okay, let's move them back together. So, now I can also do something where let's move this over here, and let's break it up. Let's see, no, I think it's, yeah, right there. I haven't done this much, so let's play with this. So, see this line right here? I can break that. Let's move the line to right there and cut it so that way I can break it up. And there's a way to make this come off here. I've seen it done and I just can't remember. Once I figure it out, I'll make a little video. But what I mean is you can have it going out this way so you can go around a corner. But what I did with mine is I basically, let's go okay, let's undo a lot of this. I basically made, since mine were 1.5 inches, 5 down. But with this one we can do 3 down. I scanned in my quilt using the app and then dropped this on my border wherever I wanted it and went to the embroidery screen and embroidered it out. So cool. Now, what I would have to do if I needed 10 of those, I would have to hoop 3 times. The next one, I would stitch this out right here. No, it would be 4 times. Yeah, if I needed 10, I would have to do 4 times. So I would stitch one set out, move my my quilt up, stitch another set out, move my quilt up, stitch that set, and then I would come back and I would have one little flower. Let's get that one out of the way. Then I would have one little flower to meet at the end. But positioning's great because I can use my positioning app to do that. So pretty cool. Now, they also do make, and let me show you this, and I haven't used this, and I can't wait to, because I have been waiting to do something. But let's talk about this. Let me see if I can turn you guys around. Because I want to show you guys this hoop I got. Okay. Remember, don't mind the mess. A messy sewing room is a happy sewing room. Does anybody have this guy? This is a continuous border hoop. And it's really cool. Let me see. Let's grab this quilt here. So this one's only a 4x7. So it's a small one. So what I'm going to do is I haven't even opened it yet. So do I push it up or push it down? Does anybody know? I guess I should have played with it before I showed you guys, but so basically what happens is this pops up and you slide your fabric in there, and I'm about to show you if I can get it open, but this is how my things go. Oh, they're buttons. That's right. Aha. So there's 2 little buttons on the side that you pop. This pops up. I'll take my border or whatever. And I've got too much fabric here, but if I wanted to do my border, I would just slide this in, center it where I want, and push it down. And then there I go. I've got this right here that can stitch. Of course, I would want to have a little bit more something to grab onto up here, but mine was just a little too big. And then when I'm done, I'm going to push these little guys, and then I can move my quilt down, or whatever I'm doing. If you want to do a set of sheets or some pillowcases, put some cute little decoratives up there, that's really a cool hoop that I haven't played with yet, obviously, because I didn't even know how to open it. So, neat. So that's something you can use, but remember, you wouldn't be able to scan that. That's the only thing about that one, is you would not be able to scan it inside of the Altair of the Meridian. Let me get this cord around you guys. There we go. So, yeah. So let's play with that. Well, I just about lost you all. Let's put this down a little bit. Let's play some more with that. Because not only can I use regular designs that I made, I can use built-in designs, or I can use designs that I have on a stick. Okay, so Carla says, love that hoop. Oh, really? That hoop is really cool. So like I said, I haven't used it. The only thing, guys, is you are limited to an area, and they are made smaller. I believe there's some longer ones, but you only have 4 inches and 7 inches here. So it's pretty cool. And the other thing is, the only thing that's very hinderable is, see right here, you can't get your fabric past these guys. So it is really made for just the border of things. But it is super cool. I'm excited to use it. Okay, so the hoop is called I believe it's continuous border hoop. I'll get you a part number for that. I read a comment elsewhere that the person put her large scanning hoop over the smaller hoop and could use the app successfully. Oh, Pam, you can't. Oh, well, I don't think you can. Can says, can you show us how to scan it in? Oh, just scanning in general? I can't use it in that hoop, but scanning it in regularly with our regular hoops? Yes, I can totally show you how to do that. Okay, I'll do that after I show you this one part, Pam. Okay, let's do that with a built-in design. The exact same thing, except for we did not actually make the design. So if we go to embroidery, and let's find a small design. Home accents, is there any small ones there? Let's see. Oops, cancel. Let's see how big is that? Okay, that's small. Now let's say I wanted to put this on the top of some sheets. I wanted to have a really pretty motif up there. Well, what I would do with this one is I would go rotate 90 degrees, just because I think it would look better like that. And then I'm going to go to my border function here, and I'm going to use the correct buttons this time, and I'm going to add one on there, and then add one onto the bottom. I would probably shrink these a little bit closer. And I don't know if I could get one more maybe. Let's see, let's move it up as far as it'll let me. And let's add one more, nope. But, see right there? I can totally do that. I can make a border out of any design that I have. Now let's do a design that's on a USB stick. And I've got a USB stick in here right now, so I'm going to go to embroidery, USB, and let's see what I have. These are Quilt Nation ones. These are really cute. Okay, so these are cute little quilters that Zandra Shaw designed. They're really cute. So let's say I wanted to get Violet here. And she is 6 so she's kind of big. So what I would do is, if I wanted to make it smaller to have like a cute little border, these would be cute like on a swag for your quilt room, wouldn't they? They're really cute. So I could make her smaller. I'm going to let it go down to as far as it'll go. She's really cute. I can't wait to stitch these out. And I'm going to rotate her just because. And I'm going to use my border function. And I'm just going to add one there and one there. And I can make a cute little border that goes all the way across. How cute is that? She'd just be sewing. And one other way I want to show you to use this border feature. If we go to embroidery, if you notice in your machine, you have all these functions here, right? We have our built-in exclusive designs. We have some additional designs. This one's really pretty. This one would be a beautiful border going across. It's really pretty. We have our fonts. We have our big alphabets, our shapes, but we also have our decorative stitches. So for something really delicate, so for a border that's really delicate going across your sheets or whatever, your towels or whatever. I love this one right here. So let's see, that one's teensy, right? Well, let's go to edit. Let's go to our border function and let's add on as many as we can add this way. Okay, it says stop it. Here we go, here we go, here we go, and that's it. Now, how many do I have in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 in there. And now all I have to do is just go embroider that out. So these would be for very delicate, but those are like your regular decorative stitches that are built into your sewing part of your machine. So you could really use those because they're in our embroidery part of our machine, which I think is super cool. So neat. Okay, so let me go back up to a question really quick. Okay, Pam asked, can you show us how to scan it in? I'm having trouble with that. Yes, I can. So, Pam, I think I can do it with just the normal meridian hoops or the normal positionable hoops, not with the border hoop, if that's okay. Molly, that's funny. Molly said, you just saved me from buying borders. Anything for your husband, Molly. Okay. Let's jump on, if this is what Pam is talking about, and if you are having troubles learning how to use your IQ positioning app, then let's do that. Let's do that really quickly. I'm going to be using my iPad. And the reason why I'm using my iPad is because I am recording on my iPhone, but it'll be the exact same way if you are using your iPhone. So I'm just making you guys a little bit taller here so we can get a good view. Let me pull up a design real quick. Let me get a design on here for you guys so we can see it really good when we get on the let's do this one. No, cancel. Set. We're gonna turn her, rotate. Okay. All right. So let me get a hoop that has now for your ulterior meridian, you have hoops that have these little sensors on them. That's what you need to do to use. So what you would want to do is you're going to hoop your area. So I'm just going to use this 5x7. Wait, let me see. Can I use that on the... No, I have to use my big one because of what I chose to do. So let me grab my big one here. So I am going to use the hoop that has the little thingamabobs right there. And ideally, guys, you want to have your fabric bigger than your hoop. But since we're just practicing, or we're just playing around today, I'm just going to hoop this little piece here. But really, I do suggest making sure whatever you're hooping is bigger than your hoop. But this is just for showing purposes. I'm going to place this in. I really need one of those new koala tables. Have y'all seen them? They're basically a big station like this, and it lifts up and lifts down, and it's got storage. I'm trying to talk Jason into one, so we'll see. Maybe one day I can get one of those. Okay, so if I was going to do that design right here, and I'll show you which design I chose, I'm just going to I'm going to hoop this, and now what I need to do is I grab my stool so I can get up a little bit higher than my project. I'm going to grab my iPad. I have to pop it out of its case real quick. So that'll just take me a moment without hurting myself. Cancel. Okay, so I am going to go find my IQ app right here, positioning app, and it will wake up. Now mine might ask me which one I'm going to. Let me make sure that Mabel is selected. Mabel is selected. And I'm going to select the embroidery right here, and it's going to come up just like this, and I'm going to stand above it. And I'm sorry you won't be able to see what it's doing, but I'm going to stand above it, and it will say, hey, Anna, hold still, Anna. And it's going to count to 3, and it takes a picture. So let me show you the picture it took. right there. I'm going to send it over to the machine. And let me show you what it says on the machine. Sorry if you get dizzy. Woo. That made me dizzy. Okay. So what it says right now is, hey, Anna, the image was sent from your mobile app. And I'm going to select OK. And and then they're always a little demandas, like I like to call them. They're demanding. They say put the hoop on. So I'll put my hoop on. And this is the design I chose. And it's going to do that. And then the picture should pop up on the background. And there she is. Now look, she's way too big. But I can take my finger and move that. Gosh, that would be a beautiful border, wouldn't it? I really like that. But I can go back and go like this. Well, I can only size it down a little bit, but there we go. So if I were going to, I had another question. How do you match them up when rehooping them so they join perfectly? So, Mindy, I would do this exact same process, is take the picture, get them on the screen, and let's do this. Let's go home and let's get a different design, a smaller design. Well, let's do these. Let's do one of these, since we were talking about that in a moment ago anyways. How about this one? I'm going to hit set. And since I left and didn't turn off my image, it's still there, which is really cool to me. So I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to go to my border function, and I'm going to add a couple more on. And then I'll add a couple more, not minus them like I did a moment ago. So let's pretend this is an edge of a sheet. And I just wanted to keep going. So after I stitch, Mindy, I will make sure when I rehoop that I have a little bit of the stitching showing when I retake my picture. And then I can take and match the bottom point up with that one little area of the design. So that way I can keep going and going and going. The best feature to use when you're doing something like this, if you can, is your scanning app. So that way you can make sure everything's perfect and straight. So I hope that helped. One for what's passing for my bee. Oh, Birdie files for my bee. Do you mean in my logo, Birdie? And Jackie, yes, I want to know what kind of iPad you have. Okay, you know what? Let's see. I don't know what version, Jacqueline, this is. Let me see if I can look it up. I've had it for 2 years at Christmas time. So if that helps, let's see if there's... Do they tell you which one you have? Let's see. Does anybody know that? How do I find out which ones I have? But I do love this. It's big enough, but it's not too big. And it's really light, and it's pink on the back, which is my favorite color. So, let's see. Does it tell you, like, settings or something, which one this is? But, you know what, Jacqueline? If I find out, I'll write it back to you. But I do know when I bought it. 2 Christmases ago, so not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, and it was their latest model, but it's not the one that, I don't know, the one that's like super crazy. So it's kind of like the second to the best model, I guess you could say, because I don't do a lot of work on it. Oh, I guess I'm showing you all my stuff, aren't I? Settings, then about. Okay. Where's my settings? About. General information. Thank you. So where do I find about? General. About. Here we go. Name. Model number. Serial model. Oh, okay. Ooh. Jacqueline, I got it. It is the iPad 6th generation. That's the one. Okay, thanks, guys. See? I don't know a lot about that type of stuff. Okay. Thank you, Molly. Yeah, I don't have the... Is that an Air? I don't know. So, okay, well, I hope that answers your questions on the Meridian side. And, you know, really all of this can really be done exactly the same in the Solaris. However, I'm just going to I'm going to jump over there now. And so if you need to leave, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, or rest of your weekend, excuse me, and a fabulous week. And I'll see y'all next week. However, I'm going to jump over to the Solaris now. And just so I can show you where all those same buttons are, plus I want to show you the built-in border feature over there because it's a little bit different. So again, if you jump off, I will see you next week. I hope you have a fabulous week. So here she is. Here's Sunshine. And I'm going to get a little sip of my drink. Bye, Donna Marie. Okay, let me get her down real quick so we can get down there. Bye, Carrie. Y'all have a great... Bye, Molly. Bye, Pat. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Mindy, anytime, girl. Thank you. Thanks for your support. You guys are amazing. Thanks, Judy. And Carla. You are so nice. Okay. You meant none note of your tablet's work? Oh, Jacqueline, no. Oh, I'm sorry. Bye, Jacqueline. Have a great one. All right, everybody who's signing off, thank you so much. Okay. So those of you who have the Solaris, I'm going to grab a sample. And I know I've been over this before, but I want to make sure that we go over it again. Thank you, Linda and Gail and Jan Ann. Bye. Thank you. Okay, so if I want to do continuous borders that even go around a corner on the Solaris, there is a function for that. So let me show you that real quick. First off, for you Solaris gals and gentlemen, if there happens to be any gentlemen in the room, you can do the exact same thing that I did over there. You can go to IQ Designer, you can make your own design, and I'm just going to, since you saw that, I don't want to waste your time by showing you all that again, but you can make your own design, you can bring it over and make your own borders like we did earlier in the video. You also do have in embroidery those same functions of that border function. So let's go and select one over here. Oh, there's some really pretty ones. I'm looking for smaller ones. That's what I'm doing. These are so pretty. Let's just select one of those. And you see that one's teensy, so that's a good one. So I'm going to go into to my edit screen, and I'm going to come right here. And again, I'm just going to add on till I can't add in anymore. And then I can stitch that out. Now with this, what we would do is we would actually use the scanning function to take a picture of the fabric to drop it onto the fabric. So you don't have to use the app. You use this button right here. And when I tap that, it might not let me do anything because I don't have a hoop on. But what I would do is hit scan and then OK, and it would scan the hoop and show a picture, and I could drop that wherever I wanted. Well, we also have a different feature in here in the Solaris. Let's go back, and I think I've shown you the hexagon side of this. But if you go to embroidery, you have this right here. And these are your other border functions. And you have multiple ones. In the upgrade, you have all the way up to 20 normal borders. You have 5 double color borders, which are really super cool. I have not stitched any of those out yet. And then you have 5 hexagonal borders, which are just so much fun to play with. I've learned so much just by playing with those. But let's say we want to do a table runner that is rectangular in shape, and I wanted to use, I just noticed that one. I really love that. That's like totally something I would do. So let's say I wanted to use this and go around the borders of a quilt or a table runner. So the first thing it's going to ask me is, hey, do you want to do this all on your own, all by yourself, or do you want a little bit of help? I always say I want a little bit of help right here. So remember, this is, you're all on your own. I can help you out. So I'm going to go to I can help you out, and it's going to ask me a couple questions. The first thing it's going to ask me is, Anna, take a look at your borders. So let's say let's use this quilt. This is perfect because it's little and easy. Okay, so I know this is really small. If you can see, I've got it up here. It's going to ask me, how wide is your quilt? So that's the small border. So let me measure that. That's about 13 inches. So I'm going to type in 13, set. And then it's going to ask me the length. This one is 23. I know I like this border too, Linda. Then I'm going to go 23. And then it's going to ask me how wide is my border. So actually, how wide is my border? And let me see what it is on this one. The border is about 2 3/4. So I'm going to type in 2 3/4. And I'm going to hit set. Oh, you can't hear me? You should be able to hear me. If you can hear me, will you let me know? Hear you fine. Okay, good. Okay, there we go. So, will someone type to Linda to log off and log back on for me? Thank you. Okay, so, okay, so I measured about 2.75. Now, I'm not sure if this is true, what I'm about to tell you, only for the hexagonal borders. However, for the hexagonal borders, I know I'm told to go smaller in this number than it actually is. So it's safe to go a little bit smaller. Thanks, Linda. So what I'm going to do, instead of do the 2.75, I'm going to do 2.5. Now, again, I'm not sure if that's true, but, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. But definitely in the hexagonal borders, you want to go a little bit smaller. So I'm going to hit set, and then I'm going to select next. And it's going to tell me, okay, this is what it's going to look like when you're stitching out. You're going to have this part, you're going to have 2 of these, you're going to have 4 corners, and you're going to have 2 of the longer borders. So it's also going to be about a total of 10 pieces. So I'm going to hit memory, and I'm going to go OK. And yes, it saves it into the machine memory. So when it comes up in my machine memory, you can see it right here. And it tells me the size, because remember I told it it's about 23 by 13. So I can go, okay, that one. And then don't worry about these sitting off here. These are if you want to do it manually, like on your own. This one is the one you want to use. So I want to select this one right here. And what it's going to do is start out with a corner piece. And if I hit set, it's going to help me and it's going to tell me, hey, Anna, the first thing you need to do is you are going to hoop your quilt just like this. And I'm going to say, okay. And then it'll give me a little light. So let me hoop something, and so I can show you how to do that. I should have been prepared, but you know, I'm just going to do this real quick. This will just take me a moment. Okay, so I've got something right here, and this is, I'm not going to stitch it out, but I want you to see how it works. So I'm going to slide my hoop on, and it's going to tell me, hey, I'm going to give you a little marker, Anna. You need to move it where I'm showing you. And I'm going to say, okay. Okay, so can you see, oh, well, you probably cannot see. You can see it a little bit here. Can you see that little green mark right there? What I want to do is take that and put it up in the corner. So on the screen, I have some arrows. And I'm going to move it over until I get into that little bitty area that I want to. Now, I didn't hoop good enough. It's going to tell me I need to bring this down a little bit. No worries. I could actually just do that right here if I wanted to. And pull it down. Oops, got to actually make it do what I want it to do. Now, that's why the magnetic hoops are great, because you can really do what I just did so much easier. And everything comes out smart and nice. Okay. There we go. So I've now got this little guy in the crosshairs. Pretty cool. So now what I would have to do is it's going to stitch out, and maybe I should just stitch this part out for you guys so you can see what happens. So when we go on, and hopefully I got this right and don't look silly on camera, but you know, details. Yep, I did. So I did something wrong. Oh, you know why? You know what I did wrong? I put the wrong quilt in for the wrong size. So this is not the right size quilt. I just picked up another one of mine. But what would happen is it would stitch it out. It would do its thing right here. And then it would tell me next. So let's see if I can move it along. Okay. I'm trying to see if I can make it do what I want it to do. But I don't think I can. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Now, what would happen after that is I would have another screen pop up, and it would look similar to this. I'm just going to get out of there. And one day I just really need to do a good video for you guys of this. The next one that would pop up would be this one right here. And it would have that same little crosshair. And that crosshair I would take and match up to the very end of that last stitch. And then it would prompt me to keep going all the way around the quilt. So then I could have something that kind of starts going, you know, in a line like this. Down, 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 down. Let's see, did I go around a corner yet? No. And the great thing about it is, now with the update, if I need to stop, if I need to, okay, don't fuss at me. if I need to stop, there's an area in here where I can go, okay, I'm on step 16, whatever step I'm on. And I have to stop because I have to go to bed now and go to work. But I can't finish my quilt. Now there is a way to get back to number 16 or number 17 and start over with the upgrade. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I think I will do a little video maybe or something like that on the border feature because, you know, it takes a little bit more time than you guys probably want to sit here and watch me stitch out. So, oh yeah, I do this button here. There we go. So, if you guys have any questions, oh, Kim, thank you for showing mistakes. Girl, I'm full of mistakes. Let me tell you about mistakes. That's how I've learned everything I know. Let me turn you away from the fan because that's really distracting and makes some people sick. So, I hope anything I did tonight helped you learn a little bit more about your machine. So I need to write myself a note about maybe do a little video. Yes, Jeanette, it does. But it didn't do it in the border feature when the Solaris, the first border feature was introduced. So they have a little button now that you go and change it. But yeah, it does have that. All the machines have that awesome feature where if your machine goes off in your middle of the embroidery and you turn it back on, it goes back to where it's supposed to be. I love that. Don't have to sit there and hit a button because if you had any other, you know, embroidery machines, you've probably gone through that process before, and it's terrible. It's just annoying. So, so yes, Kim, thank you for that comment because that's the only way we learn is by mistakes, and I am not ashamed to make mistakes on screen. I'm not perfect, huh? I don't care, you know. So, well, those of you who hung on, thank you for hanging out with me a little bit longer tonight. I really appreciate your time. Of course, if you have any questions or you need anything, just shoot me a line. So, yeah, I hope you learned some stuff tonight, and I'll see you guys again back here next week, and I hope you have a wonderful week. So, I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great one. Bye, guys.